at Iniba and welcome back to Halo Halo, America's top entertainment and lifestyle show for Asian Pacific Americans. And right now it's time to spotlight one of our very own talents. From Texas, Melissa Polinar is here, and she's here not just for an interview but to perform and promote her first full-length album, Calls and Echoes. Yeah. Welcome back.
Thank you. Great to be back here.
I'm so excited because I get my own personal concert from you. And we get to chat about your first full-length album. Yes. I can't believe it's taken this long.
Well, it is a lot of work.
Yes.
And it's also partially because of my hesitation. But things kind of aligned last year, early last year. So I did a Kickstarter thing, and it was successful. And then a lot of the producers that I wanted to work with ended up happening. So I went with it, and it took most of 2013. Basically, the whole 2013 was for Calls and Echoes.
Yes.
And so I released it last month, mid last month, and it's been great.
Yeah, I've seen nothing but positive reviews on iTunes because it is available on iTunes. And you mentioned working with these producers. Let's talk about that and how you came about working with Jesse Barrera and Josiah Bell.
Jesse, based in San Diego, of course, if people follow my career, he's one of my good friends, my dear friends, and it was just an easy decision to work with him. The other producer that I worked with was David Ryan Harris.
Yes.
People call him DRH, just his initials, because it's too long. But he used to be John Mayer's guitarist for about, like, I don't know, 10 years? I don't know. But like, he also produced India.Arie and works with Guy Sebastian from Australia. And so he and I worked before as we wrote a song together before, and then I approached him to do production for Calls and Echoes. And he said, yeah. And then Josiah Bell just came about because it's just, you know, it's a small world, and I didn't even think that he was going to produce. I only had David and Jesse, and then Josiah came later in the process of 2013, and we wrote a song that we both love, and we just agreed, like, can you put this on your record? Can I put it in my record?
Which song is this one?
Speak. Yeah, it's with him. His vocals are in there too. He produced it as well, and he wrote it. So I co-wrote it with me. So yeah, it just there's a part of it that's really planned, but then there's also part of this album that was just very spontaneous, and I just let the creative process like do its thing. You know. So it was great, and I don't regret anything that was put on that record, and I love that feeling.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And you mentioned Jesse Barrera, and there's this one song. It speaks about letting go that you did with Jesse Barrera.
Oh, Above Water?
Yeah, Above Water. And then it was done at a time when you were going through depression, or was it just like frustration? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the song is called Above Water, and I actually released it as a single before I released the whole thing. That was one of the unique songs on the record that I wrote, and I wanted to write for the record, but I didn't have it finished. So I just went in the studio with Justin and say, hey, I wanted to write a song about this. And I said, okay. And yeah, it is about the struggle of emotional turmoil and just that frustration, and you know, everybody goes through rough times, and it's hard to cope with it, and people cope with the wrong things these days, and you see it, even celebrities who like,
they go to drugs.
They go to drugs and everything. And I just felt like maybe if this song would just touch somebody.
And it has. I've seen people make comments on your Tumblr saying, you don't know what I've been going through, but your song totally helped.
And I'm totally humbled and like blessed that I became an instrument for that. And it's also just like a diary for me, and it's just my thing. And it's called Above Water, and I wrote it mid last year. And it's probably one of the more very personal and raw, lyrically.
Really raw.
Lyrically it's raw. It's not just like, oh, a cool love song or anything, but yeah. And I think artists should strive to do that, at least a couple moments in their, you know, songwriting, creative process.
What about the song that you're performing today, Skyline?
I love Skyline. I mean, I think it's also another hopeful one though. It's less. It's
not as heavy.
It's not as heavy.
Yes, but it's still hopeful.
It's very, very hopeful. Skyline I wrote a few years back actually, and I
Oh.
posted a version of it on YouTube. Yeah, just to, you know, it's one of my usual things. And yeah, I think people just love the message, and it's just, it has like kind of a sing-along tagline at the end.
Yes.
And
People, oh, sorry, go ahead.
and yeah, well, when I sing it live, I let people sing along with me.
I was gonna say people like India.Arie. I did see a video of you performing for India.Arie, and I have to ask, how did that all happen?
Well, one of my producers, David Ryan Harris, beginning of last year, he finished India.Arie's record. So he produced a lot of India's last record, Conversation. And I just saw that she was on tour, and I was at home in Texas. And then I just reached out to David and said, hey, I want to go see India. So, and he made it happen. So I went in, and India actually has known of me because of David. David actually called me out of the blue and said that him and India were watching my YouTube videos.
Oh wow.
So anyways, long story short, I was in the show. I brought my sister-in-law with me, and she actually called me on stage, but I couldn't make it.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's another story.
Okay, that's a whole other story.
It was in her encore. She sang Ready for Love. Yeah, her huge hit. And then she said, Melissa, please come to the stage if you're in the air. It was a big auditorium. And I was
like running.
Guess where I was?
Where?
I was
in the bathroom. But you got to sing for her backstage.
Yeah, I did.
And she was singing along.
Because she knew the songs, apparently. I was trying to contain my fangirl moment, but I just think it's really encouraging that she's very supportive of what I do, and she told me everything about the record that she loved.
Oh wow.
Loved it, and she listened from the first track to the end. And I'm just like, really?
That's
okay,
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just.
Well, you are definitely talented.
Thank you, thank you.
Your album, Calls and Echoes, available on iTunes, and your website, what is?
MelissaPolinar.com.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're gonna take a quick break, but you're gonna perform for us when we return.
Thanks.
For more info on Melissa Polinar and to get her first full-length album, her website is melissapolinar.com. You can also purchase it on iTunes. Time for a quick break, but Melissa performs when we return.